Grace Potter from Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. This is my bus. We're on the road right now, and I'm cooking in the kitchen with my favorite ingredient in the whole world, Cabot cheddar cheese. In celebration of fall, I'm doing an apple pepper jelly cheddar grilled cheese sandwich. It's gonna blow your mind. Get ready. Come on in. It's actually my mom's recipe. It's a little homage to the foliage in Vermont. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the red onion. And we like to cut these really thin so that they can be little half-moon smiles in the sandwich as you eat it. Cooking on the road is not exactly a high-class thing to do, but that's kind of the point. I mean, you have to innovate and you have to get creative with what you've got. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these on the pan and kind of brown them to start with, which is something my mom doesn't do when she's in a rush, but I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna let these kind of lay flat, face down, so that every face can get brown and just a little bit soft. You don't wanna lose the crunch completely for the sandwich, you just want it to be slightly brown. You wanna flavor the oil so that when you lay the bread on there, the pan's already got a little attitude, you know what I'm saying? All right, these are perfect. I'll just set these aside. They're gonna wind up back on the sandwich in a sec. Now we're gonna cut the apples. And the apples wanna be paper thin. They're not the star of the show. Remember that the cheddar is always the star of the show in a grilled cheese. So the apples are just tiny little baby slices. Paper thin, baby paper thin slices like this. You just wanna feel it. You don't wanna crunch down on this so much. You just want this to be ever so skinny. And just like the onions, we're gonna grill these for a hot second so that they get all that savoriness of the onion that's already been on the pan in there. All right, these guys are ready to go. Paper thin, perfect. Now all I have are plastic forks. Look, this is what we deal with on the bus. So all I have for flipping is this. Now we get to move on to the big show. The bread and the cheese. For the apple sandwich that we're doing here, I'm gonna do some of these, which are the band's favorite because they don't have to cut anything, they just love it. These are the 50% reduced fat, which is how rock stars can eat cheese on a bus all day and all night long and not get fat. So the reduced fat cheddar has been one of our big saviors on these last few tours with our friends Cabot. Now we're gonna add the special texture. We've got this incredible vintage choice Vermont cheddar. It's really sharp, it's pretty unbelievable. With the 50% reduced fat, you're just giving us another layer of flavor with this cheese here. Because I think the 50% reduced fat is nice and mild, especially for people who aren't crazy about a uber sharp cheese or anything that kind of has a bite to it. So we've got about the same amount of this as we do of that. So we're really cheesing it up here. And what I'm doing is I'm putting a nice hefty amount of olive oil because I'm gonna soak each side, and I'm gonna do just a drizzle of this white truffle oil too because, well, it's just my favorite flavor in the whole world. Look at that. I mean, just look at that bread. It's just perfect. So as much as I love the heel, because I'm a heel girl myself, not just for on my feet, but also the bread, we're gonna give this grilled cheese a fighting chance by leaving the heel out of it, going right in for the meat. So these are nice thick pieces because we got a lot of cheese, we got a lot of ingredients. The more ingredients you have, the thicker the slices should be. Okay, so now we kind of soak the bread in the oil for a hot second. So we've kind of let these guys brown on each side. I'm gonna go back to the side we started on, and we're gonna let the games begin, starting with the red pepper jelly. This is my mom's signature add-on flavor. And I'm gonna use my nifty plasticware here. Since that's all we've got on the bus. And each side of the sandwich is gonna get this red pepper jelly. You can find it pretty much anywhere, but it really adds that final touch to something, especially with the apples. This is a really nice balance of savory and sweet, and it's got all these fall flavors. I think they must put a little pinch of cinnamon in this because it really gets me. So I'm going to do the 50% reduced fat to start because that's going to be our foundation. That's going to be our glue for the cement. And we're going to let that melt because it's going to take a lot longer to melt than the 2-year cheddar. All right, let's see where we're at with the cheese meltorama. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. I always love it when the cheese oozes over the edges a little bit. There's nothing better than that little kind of griddle flavor that you get on the side. So I've put the vintage block on top of the 50% reduced fat. So we've got the full ratio of all the different lovely flavors going on here. We've got the really tangy, wonderful sharp cheddar. Now I'm taking the pre-grilled apples, laying these out just so. And I actually sliced a couple freshies so we would just have a little tiny bit of crunch on there as well because it's fall and it's time to enjoy the fact that it's fall. And now we've got these lovely onions browned to perfection. And like I said, these little kind of smiles just reminds me of my mom. And just one final luxurious drizzle of the white truffle oil. We're gonna let this melt for a hot second. Look at that. Now that's the kind of burnt that I love right there. So we're just gonna leave this to melt a tiny bit longer. We're just gonna let this warm for about 4 minutes and we're gonna be good to go. So it looks like our sandwich is done here, and I'm ready to unveil what we've done here. But first, I want to prepare the bed of greens that should always exist on any grilled cheese sandwich. You have to balance out the cheesy breadiness of the whole thing. Look at your mouth watering. Are you ready, Ben?
Yes, I haven't eaten today.
That is a perfect fall grilled cheese sandwich. Here you go, buddy. Take it with you. Go have your adventure wherever you're going to go.